My name's Rachel Horn. I'm the primary school Senko at Dubai International Academy.
And I'm John Ganley, and I'm the SEN coordinator for the secondary school. So to start off and give you a little bit of information, who are we in Dubai International Academy? We have 2,072 students at present on the roll. We've got myself and Rachel responsible for 88 students with SEN, and we're also responsible for another 394 students, learning support students, who we cater for with different various literacy, numeracy and social interventions.
So, as the theme was fusion, we wanted to share with you our approach to planning provision in the primary school and the secondary school at DIA. Myself and John are new Senkos to roll, so we both started in our roles at DIA this year, and what we feel that we've achieved, and we feel has also been recognised on our many inspections this year, is that we have dramatically improved the way that we plan provision for students with SEN, and also the way that we provide that provision too. So what we wanted to talk about really was what provision planning was like before. So before I was a Senko, I was actually a teacher, a primary school teacher for 9 years. 7 of those in the UK, 2 of those over in the UAE. Now, as part of my job, I had to attend IEP meetings, provision planning meetings with our Senko and so on. Now, what I found among that time was that the IEP process was very formal. It was often just myself and the Senko, and we would sit and we would look at the child's targets and review them and change the targets and so on. A lot of these meetings, especially if we had an external agent in, were filled with a lot of jargon. Now, when I was an NQT, just newly qualified teacher, that jargon didn't really mean anything to me, and I wasn't really sure what it was about. It was very focused on the child's grades. It was really academically driven, so we would be looking at the curriculum framework. Where are they now? What do they need to learn next? It was curriculum focused. It was very impersonal, rather inflexible as well. Again, it was British curriculum in the UK, so we were looking at APP, breaking down those small targets. Where do they need to be next? And they would often be focused on the problems the child was having, what the child couldn't do, what the child didn't know, what their difficulties were. And the whole time that us adults were sat in this room, we were thinking, where's the child in this? Where's the child's picture in this process?
So in making this process more student-centred, we decided to involve or fuse the key stakeholders. Most importantly, the student, the parents, learning support, subject specialists and other staff involved if necessary. And as we are talking about empowering the student today, they decided to make a few short video clips, because unfortunately they have exams this week, so none of them are around. Before we do move on, I just want you to ask yourself a question. I presume most of you work with children or in schools. So you might want to use the pen and paper that you've been given this morning to write this down. We want you to think about a child that you know and work with special educational needs or disabilities. And I want you to think yourself about something that you know they're working towards. And what do you think that you need, that you're helping them to work towards at the moment? So it might be one of their current targets, or it might be just something that you know of that you feel is important for that child. So we also want you to think about what's important to that child. So for that child to have a good day in school, for that child to feel positive in school, or for that child to feel positive in life, what is important to that child? So what about me? Our important starting point for us was creating or fusing this balance of what's important for the child versus what's important to the child. By simply including the important to, you immediately have to ask and involve the child and their families, and we feel this is only fair.
Now, with our presentation, we wanted to involve the children as much as possible. And like John said, they have exams this week, so we couldn't actually bring any of them with us. So we did ask them to make some short videos for you about what was important to them, what was important for them. And we feel that, typical to our school, the minute we get our children involved, they really do get involved and take ownership of their projects. All of the children that have produced these videos are on our registers of special educational needs or learning support children, and they've taken responsibility for the production of all of this, so we'd just like to share this with you.
Caring is important to me because it's so kind to people. That's what my mom wants to be. My mom wants me to be like that. Not running around at the school and the librarian. This is my teacher. For me to stay with my family and do my work in school.
Do we leave one for you?
I get high grades. I also got highest in IBT, math, so I think I'm doing well. I also get special math challenges at school in the math class. Also during IBT, I only got one question wrong in science. And a little bit thanks to my mother. She told me that sand was made on seashells, but apparently it was made on books. If I would have gotten, I got 250 dirhams from IBT, but if I would have gotten that one question correct, I would have gotten 500 dirhams.
Well, it's important to me that I can use technologies to help me learn new things, and I really do enjoy the subjects math and science.
In English, what I think is really important to me is that I get good work done and that I can really emphasize my reading and being able to understand what I can do. And I'm trying to link this with technology because there are lots of new apps and things I can use to help my reading skills improve and go to a higher level.
I think I really need to work on my fractions and be more confident in my fractions. Apart from that, I think I'm doing good.
To improve my organisation skills.
Keeping concentration in class.
It's important to me. Well, obviously, my academic life is extremely important to me, and so is my social life and my family life. But maybe I keep stress at a low enough level so that I can enjoy life and maintain balance life, which is difficult to do. But I'm managing my happiness.
So, as you can see, the children always, when you involve the child, they have a very good idea of what's important to them. They know what their difficulties are. They also know what their strengths are, and they know what their preferred learning style is and how they learn best. So by asking the children, and you really get a good picture then as a starting point of where that provision planning should start. But in order to actually make that happen, the staff need to really be on board as well and take responsibility for the children that are in their class, so that the children not only have shared their opinion, but they need to know that the staff and the school team working around them are going to make that happen for them.
Yep. So we wanted to shift away the focus from what the child can't do and has not achieved, and start to focus on their strengths and achievements against their own baseline. By involving the students, it's made them much more motivated and it boosts their self-confidence. It's also it brings a sense of achievement to the staff. In doing this, they start to look at the bigger picture and have a better awareness of the child's needs. And we move it away from being just a curriculum progression document.
So here we have our staff now. The children were really keen then to go and interview the teachers around the school and see if they also had a good idea of what was important for the children in their class, and if that now has taken into consideration what is important to them.
Important for now to have a little bit of extra time when he completes tasks or any activity, because he's a bit of a perfectionist, so he wants things to be really, really done well. So the extra time really helps him. It's also very important for now to be in an area where it's quiet, so he doesn't get distracted when he's working. And it's important for him to...
The boy that she's actually interviewing, the boy that's interviewing her is the boy she's actually talking about. So.
Done really, really well.
I think you're doing really good, but when you're doing research, you can go more in detail. And like you said, you like a technology, so you can go and see how this technology is used in real life, yeah, and compare it to see what are the advantages and disadvantages of that technology, yeah.
John really wants to improve his comprehension skills in English and transferring what he can say onto paper, so really developing his written work.
Help Zoe with her confidence. I've got lots of different techniques in place, such as performance opportunities where she will get to play in front of people, and then what I do is I encourage the other students to support her by clapping at the end and making sure that she gets the opportunity to see other people play before she plays, so she gets a good understanding of what she has to do.
When Zoe came, she was really struggling with confidence in the class. So the sessions we've had together, she's been practicing how to speak up for herself. So she's done a lot of activities where she's tried to present in front of me, and we've practiced and practiced at home as well. And then each time she's gone to certain classes, she's actually been practicing pushing herself to ask at least one question in that class. So bit by bit, she's getting the confidence back. She's now asking and not even thinking twice before she puts her hand up.
Rafi needs to be organised, so every morning I check his planner and make sure that he's got his homework written in and that he's completed his homework, which was a struggle for him at the beginning of the year.
So to improve her concentration in class is really important to Zoe, and we do that by letting her take breaks and checking in on her and making sure that she's aware of what's going on.
Right, it's important that Kerm sits at the front of the class, that he keeps his stress levels under control, so that if anything is getting too overwhelming for him, that we can give him extensions on work so that he feels that he can get his work done and is confident still in his work.
Okay. So by asking the important two question, the process becomes immediately much more meaningful to all parties as everyone feels involved. You can see by having an open dialogue with each other, teachers feel more confident, and the child and they see the child, not just the IEP. And that brings us to another issue then. By looking at the child's strengths, we may be directed towards other teachers or adults within the school community. And again, with them involved, the plan becomes more meaningful.
So we wanted to share a few cases with you. And in actual fact, these cases weren't things, these are ones that actually the children themselves decided that they wanted to talk more when it was their turn. And so they ended up basically creating their own feature. I think the fact that the children really wanted to share this and really wanted to make these videos about them and their involvement, because we were looking at whole school involvement, but them and their involvement, I think that really shows you how they feel about this process and how they feel it's working. So this first child at the moment, the first child we're going to share a video about had missed quite a lot of content in year one, which was her previous year, because she was often trying to escape from the classroom, trying to get out of the classroom, very restless. And when she started school this year, she knew 6 letters and sounds and about 2 high-frequency words that she could read on sight very quickly, and that was it. So what we found out really when we involved her in her own provision planning was what was really important to her was her family and being a good role model. Her youngest brother just started school this year, and that was a really big deal to her, to be the big sister there and to set the example. So we really used this as the best way in to make her want to be more involved in school and make school fit around her, really.
Hi, I'm Grace. It's important for me to be a big sister, and it's important to play with them, but not always. Sometimes you want to be alone.
and you have to play if they want to, but sometimes you have to say no. This year I learned to read, and I move on pages to get my levels, and well, I get better and better, and I read them to my moms and dads and sisters and brothers, and my grandmas and nanas, and yeah. I read to the KGs.
So this is where the link in school became useful for her.
Think that it's not fair.
She actually, the minute that she learnt to read, sharing that success by going and modelling this to the younger children was really good.
To read the stories for the students. They enjoy it a lot. And she has her brother here in this class. His name is George.
So George, can you tell us about Grace?
I don't know.
Who is Grace?
It's sister.
And what does she do here?
She do painting and drawing. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
When I grow up, I want to be like a teacher and like a doctor, and I want to be a hotel worker and a fashion designer.
What is important for Grace?
It's really important for Grace to be organised and to know exactly what's happening through the day. It's also important for Grace to know that although she has some learning difficulties, that she can do most of the things that the other children in the classroom are doing, but maybe slightly differently. It's also important for Grace that she feels comfortable and that we build her confidence and her self-esteem. She now loves to read books, and at the beginning of the year she didn't want to know about books. She loves to write, and at the beginning of the year she couldn't do any writing on her own. So it's really important that we improve her self-confidence and that we work with her to give her skills so she feels like she's part of the group.
Okay, John, start.
Okay, so that brings me on to my next case study. So this is a young man in year 12, and when I arrived last August, he presented with major behaviour difficulties in the classroom. He struggled to not only keep his own concentration, but he was a distraction to others. However, in the last year, he showed great interest in fitness, his appearance, and he started losing weight. In fact, he actually lost 15 kgs. During the year, he broke his ankle, and he was very worried that his good work would become undone. So he wanted to include this target in his IEP, that he wanted to maintain his weight and keep fit. So this meant looking within the school community for support. The bigger picture here is that by acknowledging his personal goals, we have a much more motivated student, and regular exercise helps him keep focused for the day, and he himself feels much more able to learn. He's doing very, very well.
So, what is important to you?
Fitness in general is important to me because I was overweight last year, and I started gymming around summer, and I started enjoying it, and I lost like 15 kilos, and it's just become my lifestyle now, and I just go to the gym 5 times a week. I eat healthy, and yeah.
And what in school helps you achieve your goal, aside from the gym?
So Mr. McGreen really pushed me and motivated me to go to the gym. So when the gym opened at first, Mr. McGreen would tell me, come to the gym. Pretty much I started training him last year, and we did this circuit training, and that kind of motivated me and helped me to lose weight and be where I'm at now.
So how did you get involved?
I got involved in this because we've got a fitness unit at school, and I know a lot of students are very keen on the fitness element of sport, not just the practical element. The health and fitness is a massive lifelong skill. So students approach me and ask me if I'd be willing to do this, and I love it and they love it, and we see the benefits, and we've got a lot of students very keen. So I hope to just continue it after school as well.
And do you like supporting kids with their targets?
Of course I do. It's part of my job. It's why I'm passionate about what I do. To see them develop, see them learn, see them progress, makes me very happy.
Okay. That's all right. So the next student we wanted to share and talk about was a boy who'd had a pattern of behaviour difficulties and really was having a tough time of it, getting into a lot of trouble in school, in class, quite disruptive. Now, looking at all of his targets and his goals and objectives, they were very focused on the difficulties he was having in literacy and working towards that with him. When you asked him what was important to him, though, and you asked him what was going on, what was the bigger picture, he actually would share with us that he felt quite lonely. Now, to everybody else in school, that was a bit of a shock. He was always surrounded by his peers. He was always in the thick of it with a lot of people around him. But when speaking to him about it, he felt that those connections weren't very meaningful. And actually, when he was in this group, this is when the bad things would start to happen. So by involving him in his planning, what he decided was really that he'd like to work towards was friendship and better friendships and better choices. So I would just like to share his.
What do you think is an important goal for Tarun?
Well, I think a very important goal is for him to basically stay out of trouble and make better choices.
Most important thing is that Tarun likes to read, and he likes to summarize what he's read, but it's very important for him to be able to express himself better through writing, so he's working on his writing skills. He's also working closely with a friendship group. He has many friends, he's very popular, but Tarun feels like he needs to make more friends and have closer friends. Best friends, really. Yeah, someone that he can really talk to and socialize with.
So this was a video that when we started making the video with Tarun, they wanted to then put their own video also into this as well. Shall we use the social group? Yeah, I think we should.
Or just tell them quickly up.
No, actually I won't use it.
I'm sad when I'm alone. I'm happy when I have friends.
So I think what we've seen really now, we're at the end of this year, you know, we've been working with him quite a lot so over the years, that by acknowledging what his needs and wants were and putting them at the start of our process, he is happier in class. Those academic targets, those academic goals, he's more open to working towards things like that because he feels happier and he feels that actually what we're doing and what his teacher's doing is actually putting his needs first.
So my next and final case is a boy in year 11, and he was very concerned about his personal project, but he also had a weakness for writing. He had his SEN has major learning difficulties, and he really does find writing a struggle. So we found a way of including his MYP and personal project supervised to facilitate different ways to work on this. By putting the main focus on a video on his swimming, we took the emphasis off writing. And although the script is an integral part of the project, it didn't appear that way to him. He hardly noticed he was writing, while at the same time he was doing numerous drafts. So I'll just let you have a look at it.
Yeah, this is his project, his final project that he wanted to share with you.
Are you afraid of the boogeyman? Is he a monster that lurks in dark corners, haunting your dreams and chilling you to the core more and more as the sound of his footsteps get closer and closer, until he is so close that you can feel his breath against your face, and the fear is so great that it brings you to your knees? And when you wake up from your nightmare, do you feel paralyzed by fear and your heart, which normally beats silently inside your chest, beats like 1,000 horses in your ears? My boogeyman didn't hide in closets or conceal himself in creepy spaces devoid of light. My boogeyman didn't appear only in nightmares. My boogeyman was real. His name was water. There came a point when I stood at the edge of the swimming pool, staring into the heart of my nemesis. I could turn back, run and hide under the covers as I did so many times in the past. But I didn't. Not that time. I stood strong, looked him straight in the eyes, and dove in. Water swallowed me. He fought to resist me, but I fought harder. He pushed against me, but I pushed harder. As I broke through the surface and took my first breath, I felt more alive than ever. With each stroke, my arms pierced the belly of this beast that I had for so long cowered from. I slowly began to realize something. As I glided through the water, drops splashing against my skin, feeling exhilarated and free, I realized that it was not the water I feared, but my own perception of it that created that fear. The boogeyman can be scary. In life, he shows up in many different forms. Don't be afraid. Be bold, work hard, stay positive. When he knocks you down, get back up. When he digs you a hole, claw your way out. And when he puts a mountain in front of you, you climb it. And when you're standing at the top, arms stretched out towards the sky, you'll realize that what you feared as your enemy, you have come to love as your teacher, making you stronger, making you fearless. Am I afraid of the boogeyman? Heck no. Bring it on.
So here we have enabled our students to take control of their learning by putting their voice at the heart of the process, to feel that their strengths are being acknowledged and that they are not always just focusing on difficulties they may have.
So this is really an ongoing process at DIA for us. It was one of our main objectives this year was really to empower our students in the planning process and put their voice and the voice of their families at the heart of it. It's an ongoing journey and we've got so much actually that we'd still like to implement long term. But I think one of the things that we've tried to keep as like our central question really throughout everything that we've done and every decision we've made is to think to ourselves, if you were the child with special needs and it was your review meeting, how would you want it to be planned? Would you want it to be planned for you or would you want it to be planned with you? And with that in mind, we feel that every single time you have to let that student's voice and that student's preferences and that student's opinions be heard, no matter how young you are. As you can see, children as young as year 1 know what's important to them, and if you can just use that as a way in, you know, any planning that comes after that is much more meaningful. Yeah.
That's really just a question. Just give out this handout.
Yeah, so if we made a handout just in case you wanted to start to do something like this in your own school, or you wanted to, if you're wondering how to make students more involved in the planning, and what kind of questions you will then be asking, what kind of discussions you'll be having. We've just given some tips out there. Are there any questions? No.
Yeah. The examples you've given, it all seems to work very well.
Yeah.
Did you find that there were times when this didn't work, where maybe the child's feeling about what they most need was not the same as the teachers or the SEN coordinators' views? What about situations like that?
Well, we really tried to find a balance. So there are always going to be differences because, you know, especially with their parents as well, the parents do have a better idea when the child is quite young about what's important for them. But we really have to make sure that even if it is a difference in opinion, we have to make sure that we are acknowledging what's important to that child. When we set targets as well, for example, we try and make a balance where the targets that we're using are development of areas of difficulty, and we also put in strength enrichment targets, which are trying to push what the child's already very good at. Like the boy who just made that video before, writing was an issue. He had a passion for technology, a passion for creating videos, editing. A lot of our children want to be YouTubers. I don't know if it's the same in most schools at the moment. But we've had to really try and find a balance. Yes, it might be a difference in opinion, but we've had to try and find a way of working both of those in. We can't, the minute that you start trying to scaffold the child's opinion into something that suits better what everybody else thinks better for them, the minute it becomes a little bit less respectful to them, really. Any other questions? Yeah?
It's regarding the friendship group. Who chooses the kids who are going to be in the group?
The child often has a preference for who they would like to get to know more. It's usually someone they're not already friends with. We actually have quite a lot of friendship groups. In fact, this is the first year we've offered social skills, friendship groups, self-esteem groups and things like that at our school. And usually we ask the teacher as well to choose somebody that they feel will be a positive influence and a good social role model to be part of the group. But also the child usually has somebody else that they want to be involved in that group as well. Usually somebody they admire, somebody they want to get to know better. It's always someone really surprising as well. And they say, you always think they're quite different personalities, but that child must see something in that child that really appeals to them or how they want to be. And we always make sure as well that we do have consent from all their parents to be involved, and it's usually in something, you know, they miss like half of assembly or something like that.
I'm talking about a teenage child over here, a female teenage child, and the problem with her is that the more I try to get friendly to her, the more I try to step into her shoes, the more she understands me. The more she tries to bunk my classes. Like, I fail to understand sometimes, like, the more closer
I suppose that's
I
gone
get,
the opposite end of it, is it? It's just that, like, now they've become too relaxed or too comfortable with you that they forget that you're the teacher as well, maybe, and like, there is that balancing act that you still are the teacher, like, and you want to be there in support, but like if they're not going to be there to attend class, I don't know what to say to you about that.
I think what we've done with some of our cases as well is try not to keep it to us. It's a whole school approach. So is there somebody else in that school that can help you? So a dean of students would be a great idea as a starting point, but also find out which classes she's not bunking. Yeah. Because if you can find out...
She bunks the entire lot of class.
Every single class?
Yes.
Counsellor as well.
Yeah, so possibly some counselling, but one of the things that we do with some of them is sit them down and do a good day, bad day activity, where you get the child to list what makes a good day for them, what makes a bad day for them, and then from that discussion, try and get them to help you pick out how can we have more good days than bad days. What things happen in good days that make you want to be present? What things happen in a bad day that we need to try and minimise and alleviate, and then try and, once she knows that you're trying to put that ideal day together, but it sounds like that may need...
Understood that the system is quite strict, like when she bunks the class, she has understood that aspect, yet she's taking the management for granted.
Yeah, that's definitely...
After understanding, she's frightened for it. She approaches me for my help, yet she, like, once she gets the help from me, next time she's the same.
Do you have a school counsellor?
We do.
It might be worth referring to the school counsellor and taking some guidance from there as well. Any more?
Do you also have children whose speech is very limited to a point where they really have to have a shadow in the class, and they're having shadows? I mean, I know there you said you include the child, which is very good, the pupil's voice, but there is not much you can get out of the child. You only get it from the shadow and the parents. I know the teachers will work as a group.
You're talking about very young children with speech and language difficulties.
Primary, where
Yeah.
the child is 8 years old or 9 years old, but they are limited in speech, they are limited in many things that they really rely 100% on the adult. Do you have children like those in your school?
Yes, we do have children like that in our school. We still involve them because I think part of it, I mean, they're with a shadow all the time. If they are with a shadow or a shadow is present in the classroom, through good observation, you can gain a very clear picture of what their special interests are, what's important to them, what they enjoy, the kind of things that they like, their learning styles, their preferences. But then also, if they're having speech and language therapy, there are ways of framing questions and being very clear with simple questions and sign-in symbols, Makaton, of finding out what kind of things they love, what kind of things they like. And if you can at least just start with those two pieces of information, it does give you also a good insight into what's important.
The lessons, or do
Well,
they have
I think...
withdrawal sessions where they have a one-to-one where they can be taught intensively?
Sorry, I don't understand.
I would take it your school is inclusive, where
Yeah.
the children attend, because the children we saw there, as much as they have SEN,
Yeah.
I think maybe they are very much on the later side where they're able to learn independently with differentiated or suiting their academic abilities. But they're now coming now to the other end of the spectrum of SEN, where really the level of differentiation, you find out maybe the gap is too large. It's too
Well,
big.
I think, again, when you talk about differentiation, when you're talking about how you can get that child to fit into your curriculum, not how you can get the curriculum to fit the child. So we have children that are very severe, and they are still involved. There's not a child that isn't involved. I mean, KG1, we still have that discussion. It happens very differently, and it will be with the learning support teacher from KG as well. But we still, like I said, there are ways of scaffolding questions and ways of putting things to them that you can still get a good insight into what is important for that child. I mean, we do have, even if it's just, what do you like, or who's your best friend, who do you like in the classroom, things like that. Just with that, okay, they're going to work well when they sit with this person, or when there's lots of this, maybe we can use this as a reward time for them. But yeah, I had a meeting. It depends, whether you make the decision. I think we put it on there that either you invite them to the review, or that you have a pupil conference, which is where you meet with them just one-on-one first and check how they feel, what they think they've achieved, and so on. You can do that in that. It depends if you think that they would work better as a group, or if they would work better just sharing their opinions first, and then you can share those on behalf of them as well. But I did have a meeting, a pupil conference with a boy on the autistic spectrum with a full-time shadow who does have quite severe needs and a lot of curriculum modification, and he was very motivated in telling me what made a bad day for him. He knew exactly what didn't work for him, so we knew then what things we needed to change. Okay. Are we finished? Okay. Thank you very much.